till I die, Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die, Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die.
Good evening to you brave Spurs fans that are willing to support us on this Friday night and a regular Friday night show. Spurs Darts, TTID, Tottenham Till I Die. Never it could be a truer name for a show than Tottenham Till I Die, could it? Because they are killing us at the moment, aren't they? Right, with poor performances. Yeah, and we are falling like a stone, which is bad because the teams below us, at least they're picking up points, whereas we don't look as though we've got a winning us at the moment. We are going to get into last night's game. I was there with 60,213, believe it or not, trying to lift the team, but we shot ourselves in the foot during that game. But we'll get into it. Right, before we do any other news. So before we do, I'm going to introduce Steve, a regular friend and regular Friday night panelist. How are you, Steve? And are you defrosting in Michigan or is it warmer?
Oh yeah, dude, it's warmed up over the last couple of weeks. Let me tell you, man. The sub-zero temperatures are a thing of the past, and spring looks like it has finally arrived in mid-Michigan. But I will say that as far as this football club, man, I'm deeply ambivalent. I gotta say that I was actually lucky that I didn't get to watch yesterday's match because of work obligations. So I was spared. I was spared. I guess you could say the pain and humiliation of watching that game, because the interesting thing, man, it was a must win. It was a must win in every single way possible. Spurs needed some sort of points out of that match, and it was a perfect matchup considering where Crystal Palace was at as well too. When Solanke got the first goal, you're kind of like, oh, okay, we're kind of cooking, and then all of a sudden VDV was like, hold my beer.
Well, your talk of spring is a bit premature. There's no green shoots for recovery at our football club at the moment. None whatsoever at the moment. So at the stadium, it was a good crowd. There was a bit of burn at half time. It was quite muted even at full time. It wasn't as bad as it's been in other games when we weren't in deep trouble like we are now. But I know you weren't there, but we'll go through the team on the substitutes list. I mean, this was last night's team: Vicario, VDV, Gray, Polina, Porro, Danso, Saar, Souza. I wanted to see Souza start, Mwani, Tel, and Solanke. Although you didn't see the game, you obviously see the lineup. I mean, did you watch the highlights I sent you?
I watched a little of them. The interesting thing is when I saw this lineup, I was kind of curious to see exactly how it was going to stack up actually on the pitch, right? I was kind of curious to see exactly how the midfield was going to play out. And it turned out, I think Pedro Porro was actually playing right center back of a back three in this one. And the midfield combination wasn't exactly how I imagined it would. And from that, again, it was a different, it ended up being like a different formation. Again, I think now this is the third straight match for Igor Tudor with 3 different formation changes. So it was kind of confusing when I actually saw it.
Yeah. I think most of the fans picked up on the Porro positioning. With sort of Gray more to the right of him. I mean, I actually wondered whether he'd go with the back 4. I was hoping he would go with the back 4 on this game. just because of who's available. I mean, he's tried a couple of times. It's his third game now. All right. I mean, he will have VDV and Romero from Madrid when they fly out Monday for Tuesday's game or whatever. So we'll have them paired back, which will be good. You know, tough place to go to get anything. Although we do have a good record against Madrid. I mean, like we did beat them 5-1 in the Cup Winners' Cup final in 1963, with 2 goals from Greaves, 2 from Dyson, and 1 from sadly deceased John White. Yeah. So
That should play a role in this one.
But we lost the Champions League final there to Liverpool, didn't we? So yeah, but actually the game against Atletico Madrid was in Holland. It was in Rotterdam, so it wasn't there. So yeah. Okay, I mean, I looked at this lineup. I'm looking at the team. I'm thinking, okay, it's like a lot of our lineups, and that's without even arguing about who we'd pick with all the injured players coming back. You know, even Romero suspended. If you got Madison, you know, if you got Kulusevski, if you got Udogi, I mean, they're key players. You know, so yeah, and Kudus as well. You know, so it's fine. I mean, yeah, but we don't have a settled team or a settled side, Steve. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it tells in the substitutes, because if you look at the substitutes bench, I mean, again, you know, you got 2 goalkeepers in there and some kids. Basuma, or I don't want at the football club. Gallagher, who did come on and did okay, actually. Kira Martin, who played today for the under-21s who were losing 2-0 when I gave up the ghost. I thought I'm sick and tired of seeing their teams lose. Rouse one, Alo Stacey. And so really you're looking at Gallagher, Xavi and Richarlison here, aren't you? You know, but Basuma came on as well. So the kids were never going to come on, were they? It shows we're short because of all our injuries, basically.
Yeah. The interesting thing was the exclusion of Richarlison into the starting lineup, right? You know, and far be it for me to, you know, to tell Igor Tudor how to make a lineup, right? I mean, the guy is, you know, he's been around the block for a few times. One of the things that I will say that in a relegation scrap, you kind of want to make things as easy as you can on yourself, right? You want to make sure that, you know, square pegs are in square holes, and you don't want to do too much, because the last thing you want to do with a team that is literally bereft of confidence is put them in a position where now all of a sudden they're even more confused, or they're even more uncomfortable on the pitch. And that was the thing that I just didn't understand about yesterday's lineup. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? So I mean, even if you want to play Gray and you want to play Sarr, okay, fine. There's your midfield too, with Xavi playing underneath, and you have Richarlison and Tell at least some form of fashion higher up the pitch with Sousa and Porro out wide, providing your width, right? You can figure out your midfield 3. You don't have to overcomplicate things by keeping a guy like Pedro Porro in a back 3 when you actually need him higher up the pitch. It just, for me, I just don't understand. On top of the fact that last time we saw, you know, Richarlison play, he was kind of really one of only 2 or 3 that was really putting effort out on the pitch. And so from that standpoint, I was kind of hoping we were going to see Richarlison. And this is no disrespect to a dude like Dominic Solanke. He scored yesterday, and so from that standpoint, I'm actually thrilled for him. But that being said, it's like, you know, you need guys right now that are actually going to be able to want to run from whistle to whistle. Yeah,
the square pegs in round holes it was, because Porro should be on the right. If he likes to straight at the back in the wing back position. I mean, we'll probably see that Tuesday night, because you will have VDV, Romero and Danso playing. So it's just a question if Spence comes back, because Sousa won't be available. He's not in the squad. So Spence will be a left wing back, and you'll have Porro on the right. But the problem with that is, again, when we get to the next game, VDV's suspended against Liverpool. So we're stymied again. We're never getting any sort of settled side. And look, I've got some sympathy with Igor Tudor. He's inherited a shit show, and what's he supposed to do in 3 games? It might take him, you know, say another couple of games, and then you've got like 7 to go. You know,
right?
Together. It might take him to Forest, and it's an interesting thing talking about Forest, because there is a big gap in games. We'll get into the game, guys, that you're waiting, but there is a big gap in days after we played Liverpool from the 23rd of March to the 30th of March. That's the international break, but we don't actually play again to the 12th of April, I think. Right after that. Now that might be that we might have had games in there if we get past Atletico Madrid. I'm not sure about these other cup competitions, So I think if teams were playing us, that would affect it. I mean, we haven't got a game, but Chelsea's right late in the season. Villa, all right, we are due to play them away. I've not actually checked the date, and they're in Europe, aren't they? So,
right.
And so are Forest as well. I mean, but we play them anyway. That fixture's set. So we're going to have a big rest period. And actually, during that period, prior to the international break, Bergvall should be back, as should Kudus. And if that's either towards the international break or at the end of it, and Udogie should be back as well. But the situation we find ourselves, we're now pinning our hopes on returning players when they come back, and then you've got to hope they hit the ground running on top of that.
Correct. That was the brainchild of Johan Lang when he essentially came back and said there was nobody in Europe that can help us in the short term, that we were going to get players back. And it's like, okay, cool. And so from that standpoint, March 22nd against Nottingham Forest. But the cool part is then even if for whatever reason we don't get points against Forest, we still have Sunderland, we still have Brighton, we still have Wolves, we still have Leeds, and we still have Everton still on the schedule, right? And so from that standpoint, you're hoping that when we do get Bergvall back and we do get Kudus back, Udogie back, and then all of a sudden things get a little settled. Like even if Igor Tudor's got to use baby gloves for a match or two, whatever the case may be, we're going to have them back on the pitch. It's going to provide huge dividends, even if it's only for a half. Because by the time we actually get to Leeds and Everton, they should be at full strength at that point. And maybe just maybe we might get a Kulusevski back. I'm not holding my breath, but you never know exactly how this thing is going to pan out. So from that standpoint, I'm looking at this it's going to be past Forest for me, where I'm looking at Leeds and I'm looking at Brighton potentially, and Everton and Sunderland, where there are going to be some points available. How many points? I don't know. It could be 3. I hate to say it. Could be 3. It could be 6. But that being said, it's like me personally, I still feel like there are going to be points out there. It's not all doom and gloom. Now, one of the things that I will say is that how this is going to, like, how we're going to be able to pull this off is we're going to have to stop shipping goals. I think it's now, Adrian, I think it's been like 7 or 8 straight matches where we get up 2+ goals in every single match, right? And they're like here's the thing. It's like I understand that our goal scoring prowess right now has been absolutely piss poor. We just don't score goals. And it didn't help that we shipped goals away to Crystal Palace and we didn't replace those goals. Whatever the case may be, it is what it is. Like, part of the equation is our defense is going to have to be able to lock teams down and limit goal production for this to actually happen. And, at least we're going to see what it looks like against Atletico Madrid, where we're going to have our top 3 center backs available. It's going to actually end up paying huge dividends if we're going to continue to stick with a back 3. So at least we're going to get a bird's eye view of what it's going to look like after Liverpool. It sucks that we're not going to have it versus Liverpool. We're not going to win that game anyway. Even if they were available, chances are we're not going to win that game anyway. We're not even going to get a point out of it. So it's like, to me, like, Liverpool was already irrelevant. It's going to be after that where all of a sudden, at least that should stabilize some. It depends on the attitude of Van de Ven Romero. Let's kind of keep this in context, right? They've been erratic. Romero has been erratic all season. Van de Ven has just let his frustration boil over. But if those guys come good, we're going to be able to escape this.
Right, just go through the chat. I mean, Alan should be joining us, but he was working, so we'll see. Hi, Pete. Welcome, mate. Then I'm saying hi to you there. All right, okay. Looking forward to the stream as well, babe. You're a brave Spurs fan, Pete. You're a brave Spurs fan, like all of you. Lisa, regular friend of the show, big up. Yeah, looking forward to it as well. We have to man up for shows like this, and we've had to man up for so many this season. It's unreal. So I'm sure we'll be strong in the future. Oh, I said starting shortly. Yeah, we're a bit late. Even apparently we spoke to Deserve in the last. I hope you well. I hope not. Rosa THFC. The reason is like if you panic and you have a knee jerk reaction, I mean the tendency is to keep repeating the same mistakes and keep doing it. Don't panic.
Right. We're not getting Deserby.
Yeah. We're not going for Deserby, mate. If it was in the end of the season and we're not getting Parch, I just want Parch. I'm on record of that. But if it wasn't there, I have to go. I know more about Poch than I do all these other managers that have written because I don't watch their teams play that often. Big up Brian, watching us from Chinkford, not far from me. Real life friend, fellow bricklayer, ex-bricklayer. Roger, big up. Do you still believe we're surviving with the option? Well, Roger, to be honest with you, I mean, there's 9 games to go, isn't it? 9 games to go. There are points there. Yep. I mean, if I'll as you're there, Roger, I will bring up who we've got.
The schedule is positive, man.
Right, this is the schedule, Roger, right? I've removed the dates to fit the teams in, right? But this is the order. We got Madrid away during the week. Now, we could, as Ali Gold said, if we did get a point at Madrid, somehow got a miracle, that would give us good confidence going into the Liverpool game, which I'm in agreement with Steve. I mean, like, you know, a win at Liverpool, you know, is about as rare as spotting the lesser spotted, you know, whatever animal, whatever beast you want to think of, right? So we just don't win there. Draws have not been unknown at Liverpool, but even they are rare as well. So then we get Atletico Madrid at home. Well, our record in Europe, that could give us a good boost for Forest because we're unbeaten at home in Europe in about 20-odd games. Might be 21, 22 or something like that.
Yeah, but Adrian, for the last 2 seasons, we've actually had very good European home matches only to get played off the park the very next match at home. In the Premier League, right? Yeah, like I don't. There's no correlation between form in European play and in the Premier League. Like that has to, that type of rhythm has to be done in the Premier League at the home ground.
And now we got Forest at home. We've shown fight down the bottom. Sunderland away. They're a bit of a mixed bag. They flew out the traps when they first come up, and like, but they're a bit of a mixed bag. Brighton, they're a mixed bag as well. Wolves beat Liverpool last minute recently, but it doesn't mean they're going to play that well against us or whatever. Then you got Villa away. Villa was always to be a good ground for us to go to. Everyone remembers when we beat them when Son broke his arm. Leeds at home, good record against them. I hope Leeds stay up. And then we got Chelsea away. I'd love to beat them anytime. And Everton at home. I mean, like, we have more Premier League points against Everton than any team in the Premier League, but you don't want to go to the last game of the season. I remember us staying up 1 year. This is going back some years. We had to play Leeds at home. We were a top-class side. We had Alfie Con playing for us then, I think. We won 4-2 at home and stayed up. But so there's points to be had here. But what we want, we need to get a draw or a win just to give the players that boost. Right? Now, all right, a lot of fans I've heard Steve recently, let's scrap let's like bother with the Champions League. No, because we need to gain some confidence, Steve, don't we? We need to get football under our belts to gain confidence, If we just threw it away, it'd be more defeats to add to more league defeats.
Right. And if this team is truly one of those teams that are fully concentrated on European play, then from that standpoint, theory would say that, they're probably going to show up against Atletico Madrid at home or on the road, whatever the case may be. They're going to put up a fight. And from that, you have no idea exactly how that's going to play out. I still don't think there's any correlation between our form in European play and the Premier League. But that being said, there's a 4-game stretch there between Forest, Sunderland, Brighton, and Wolves, where there are points there, and also Leeds and Everton at home to close out the season. I don't care what anybody says. There are points there. And, again, we should be getting some very key players back towards the end of this upcoming upcoming month, whether that's just Bergvall and Caduce, that's going to help. That's absolutely going to help. And so from that standpoint, listen, I don't care how this sounds. It might sound like it's pure delusion, whatever the case may be, then it's guilty as charged. I still think that we're going to be able to get enough points, again, whether it's 3, 6, whatever the case may be, that will get just enough to scrape by the skin of our teeth. I just believe it.
Yeah, I'll carry on. I'll carry on with the chat in a second. But to add to your point about getting players back, we've got no Premier League game between March the 23rd. When the international break starts till like the 30th. But our next game after that, unless they change the fixtures because we've got a gap, which they could do, they could bring games forward. We don't play till the 12th of April, which is Sunderland away. So after we play Forest on the 22nd, we haven't got a game till the 12th of April. So you've got 2.5 weeks roughly, right? Without a game. And it might be of European games, we might get past Atletico Madrid, or you never know. So it might be Europe, or teams we may have been due to play might be playing there, like Villa or whatever in the Europe or whatever. I haven't checked the dates. I've just put the teams in the order that they appear. I had the dates, but I couldn't fit them all in.
And by the way, that 2 weeks is going to be absolutely pivotal too, especially when you're looking to get players back out of the medical room and onto the training pitch. You're going to have 2 full weeks plus to ingratiate players back into the team and get them up to full strength. So you don't have to do it in game. You're going to have a little bit more time with some of those players, especially with the new coach and everything like that. So from that standpoint, this is actually a positive.
Well, hang on. I'm just going to sort this out, guys, because what happened? Good evening, Al. Better late than never. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, it's fine. Okay. We're talking about the fact that we have got, after we play Forest, I mean, we've got the 2 Madrid games surrounding Liverpool before we play Forest. We've actually got quite a long period off from March the 23rd. We play Forest on the 22nd of March, and then we go through to the 12th of April without a game. Now, it could be because European games are probably due to be played during that period, but it probably is. Europa League as well as Champions League games. Mm-hmm. Who knows? We may, by some miracle, scrape past Atletico Madrid. You never know. So, yeah.
I don't know that any time off.
You think we'll get rusty?
They're apparently a very good team. I think time off. It seems so toxic right now with the team. The feel of the players from the top down. I think the rot is finally exposed. We've cut it down to the quick, and I think right now it's now exposed, and unfortunately they're reaping what they sow, and we're, as the fans, sort of suffering for that. Did you guys talk about the Crystal Palace game?
Not yet. We haven't discussed that yet. We will get to that. But what I'm saying is, anyway, with our results, I mean, we're actually dropping like a stone, whereas the teams below us, at least they're trying to stop the rot and picking up points. Whereas
Wolves beat Liverpool. I mean, and they looked good. West Ham, they beat, was it Burnley or Brentford? And Forest tied. Was it Man City? They're looking. It seems like they understand where they're at in the table, and they're not interested in being there. They're trying their best, and it just seems like Tottenham. Maybe they don't realize the seriousness. Maybe some players are want-away players who would rather they've discovered this is almost like an escape hatch. I don't know, but to watch them play, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to watch. It's hard. Did you go to the game, Adrian?
Yeah, I was at the game. We're going to get into that though. Carry on. We'll
Yeah.
get onto the game after I've done the chat and asked Steve about his trip because I forgot to ask him about that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
I don't
great.
know that time off really does a whole lot. We had 12 days off and it did nothing for us. You know, that rested, not rested. I think it has more to do with the player's mentality. And
I think does more for Igor Tudor than it does for the players.
if
I
he's still
think-
around,
If he's still
Oh,
around.
well, you've got to
you know
stick
what-
with the guy no matter what. I mean, not only that, what would it look like on Enoch or in like who no one's got no sort of like respect from anyway, right? Because they shielded himself, behind Levy, who shielded himself by managers and directors of football. I mean, they are ultimately responsible. They've been at this, owned this club for so many years now, so they're ultimately responsible. I just think that Igor Tudor would get a bit more time. He's not had much. Like even he hasn't been able to pick who he wants to pick on pick a settled team. He just hasn't been able to do that. And with games to play and limited numbers to choose from, you can't pick the same team to play with the remaining games anyway. Otherwise, you'll get more injuries. So,
no, I agree. I think the criticisms laid at his feet more to do with who he's picking and where he's playing them, less the fact that he had, holding against him the fact that he has such a diminished squad to choose from. I think he's just,
Right.
playing Pedro Porro where he played him and playing Conor Gallagher up front. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, which to me, which was why it was essential to bring in at least a couple more players in January, just to actually have a different mentality, or at least a couple different more voices in that changing room. Because let's remember that there are some players that are on this team that have already been relegated before, that have already gotten multiple coaches fired already, right? And so from that standpoint, you kind of look at the attitude and their body language and some of their their mannerisms on the pitch. It already feels like they've already gone down, right?
Yeah.
For me, that was the biggest misstep of this entire process, was the utter mismanagement of hanging on to the excuse that we're going to get players back. It's like, yeah, that's great, but also let's understand that some of these players have already proven to be losers.
How was your trip, Steve?
It was great, man. It was great. First time seeing London, and I got to be honest with you.
Finished.
Say it again.
London will be nice when it's finished.
Being at the stadium for the first time, it was magic, right? Like, I have seen 1,000 Premier League matches before, and of course, from the comfort of my own, from my own home, it's one thing, but to actually be in the stands and looking out the south end and hearing those fans, they were electric on the night. And then of course you have the away supporters and the other side. And when Arsenal scored a goal and those guys were going batshit crazy, you're kind of just looking at it like, I can't believe I'm actually at a North London derby. It was something that I will remember for the rest of my life. But that being said, man, London was really cool. In the history that dated all the way back to like the 1100s. It was simply just unreal. It was amazing. I'll definitely be going back to London many more times.
How much did you spend in a Spurs shop?
Do you want the fictitious number or the real number?
The real number. Come on, share your guilt. Come on.
I spent about $300.
Well, just one of those jerseys, the ones up front with the, when you want the badge, it's got to have the, the
so I got
badge and stuff.
So I got this right here. This was on sale for £55. I bought a throwback shirt for $55, and then I got actually a custom jersey made with my boy on it, a new jersey with my guy on it.
Nice.
And that was like 120 pounds. And then I got
well north of 100 pounds.
Yeah. And then I got some stuff for a special person in my life. But outside of that, man, like I was I did the tour stadium. I did the stadium tour, which was unbelievable. I didn't do the skywalk because, quite frankly, I'm a little bit nervy being that high off the ground. So yeah, I did do the skywalk, but I did it.
It's tall enough.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
So, did you go at that Wrexham game? They won.
You know what? I didn't, and the reason why is Wrexham tickets are insanely just incredibly expensive, right? Like I could have went up to Derby to go watch to go watch Ajamang play, to go watch another American player for half the price, and of course I just didn't do that either. But you know, to get a last minute ticket to go to Wrexham was like 150 pounds, and I was like on top of hotel and on top of taking a train up to Wales. I was like, dude, that's going to be like, damn right they suck. It was like going to be like $300 to $500, and I was like, I'd rather actually go see the Churchill rooms, and I went and did that, and so that was actually, I don't know, I'm kind of a history nerd, so that was pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about confidence. I can understand the confidence in the team being low. I'm just going through the chat, and we'll get into the Palace game. Second half, depends how you want to read it. I think it depends on your mentality. The second half was much better than the first half. We were winning a lot of second balls. We caused them problems. You only had 2 real shots to go. We had a header and a Solanke shot. I had a down-so header and that. But we pressed them, we won the ball. And I don't think it was because they dropped off and took it easy, because it was the manner of the balls we were winning up front when there were long balls put up front. But you could, it's like glass half empty, half full. You can say, yeah, Palace eased off, that's why we played better. Or you can say, well, no, Spurs upped their game the second half. And I actually think we upped their game second half, personally, from what I saw. But you take it whichever way you see it, you perceive it, basically. So, okay, I'm just going through the chat, and then we'll start talking about the game. I think more of you have added comments. That's what's done it. We've got 76 of you watching us on various platforms. That's fantastic on a Friday for us. You can see that little red subscribe button down the bottom. If you could please hit that.
Was it really
our YouTube page, and then subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel, and give the video a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm, which means we can keep bringing you content for nothing. Right. I'm not going to go too much further with this chat. I mean, like, get on with the chat. Okay.
Yeah, that's Ashley brings up a very good question. Why nobody was being told to keep tight with Adam Morton?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
he had a good game against us.
Well, chat's come up in this bottom right-hand corner anyway, so we're going to go back to the banners. But just before we do,
yeah, Ismail Sarr was
Alan
awesome.
here at Team Tottenham Go. Get over there and subscribe to his channel. Give any videos a thumbs up. If you're watching on playback, go and do that. You can find Steve here. I'll put them up at the end of the show as well. Go to start. Steve does so much content. Get over there. To stay side footy. Right, we're going to get into the game now. I know, I'm sure you're really looking forward to it. Right, let's get rid of this banner. Scroll. We did the teams, Al. I mean, like, I'll get your comment on the team though. When you see the team, what was your reaction?
I actually thought that he might swap out Vicario because he's been, I guess with goalie, I always figure that's a position goalies tend to get complacent in because you don't have a whole lot of competition comparatively. But he's been so poor lately, I thought that maybe he would swap him out. I didn't realize that Dragishin was injured. I thought that
I didn't.
Yeah, I thought that he would have wound up in the squad, but he was injured. I was surprised that he didn't start Xavi, but I guess because Xavi tends to be the majority of the creativity for whatever that's worth. And I was happy to see that Souza was able to get a bit of a start, even if it was cut short. I was weirded out by where Poro was playing a little bit. I didn't understand that. He's
Neither
not.
did any of us.
Yeah,
None of us
I
did.
didn't understand that. I understood VDV on the left.
Mm.
But VDV on the left, I don't know. I think the last time he was there, didn't he get injured on the left? I was a little concerned about. I figured as the captain, maybe he would have been in the center. And then looking back, aside from the red card, maybe he would have been better than Danzo in the center.
I mean, what struck me as well, I thought, okay, you're leaving Marnie out, Xavi out, sorry. I get that. He can be very good or inconsistent, so I get that. You want consistency now. But then if you want that bite. Richarlison's experienced a relegation battle with Everton before and all that.
Yep.
I was surprised he didn't start.
I was surprised that Richie didn't start because both of them, Richie and Tell, were like the most convincing, up for it players in the game previous to Crystal Palace. And he scored. And so I figured maybe he would give him an opportunity to start, but he didn't give him a start.
So Richie surprised you he didn't start, Steve? Yeah, he did me.
Yeah, it did me as well.
I'm not winning at the football club, but I just think for a battle, you want him in the team.
Well, right. And, that's the thing. It's, players that understand the situation that they're in, players that actually, give a shit about their pride, are going to play hard from whistle to whistle, right? And we saw that over the last couple weeks when Matisse, Tell, and Richie actually got in. They played hard. They were at least trying to make something happen. And in a situation where you're going up against a team like Palace, where you really have nothing to lose, and by and large, it was a must-win. And one of the things you have to do is make it as easy as possible on yourself to try to get some sort of results. And again, like when we went up 1-0, you're kind of like, okay, that's not bad. And it's this team actually plays a little bit better when they're protecting leads than trying to chase games, and you're kind of hoping maybe you can build off of that, and it just didn't necessarily work out. But that being said, the whole nexus of this lineup made absolutely zero sense in a game of this magnitude. I didn't understand it. Whether Igor Tudor has faith in a guy like Kolo Muani, the reality is he has not produced at all this season for Spurs, and it is what it is, and it sucks. Loan move didn't work, but you have a guy in Richarlison who actually can get on form and can get on a hot streak at any moment. We've seen that at least a couple times this season where he'll go on a four match run by scoring goals, and it's like, as of right now, you need dudes that score goals.
You can question the mentality of loan players when you're in dire straits, because like you could think, well, okay, he ran off down a tunnel straight after being subbed. He didn't go to the bench or nothing like that. So unless he's got a knock, the press hadn't made no big thing about it. They have about everything else that's happened around this football club. Surprised they didn't. So he went off. But it hasn't happened for him. I mean, and you wonder if he's cared, but then you get a total different mentality with Paulinho, who's on loan.
I think Paulinho, for the most, at least early in the season, it seemed like he was trying out for the team.
I think Paulinho, I think he's playing because he wants a future at this football club.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas Marnie isn't. Whereas Marnie doesn't give a shit, basically.
He's using us as a springboard to either get into the World Cup or to Juventus. He's not.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of merit to that. Yeah, there's a lot of merit to that, especially considering how loaded that France side is. A good showing in the Premier League is a ticket into a national team. I tend to agree with that. My whole take was that if this team was actually winning and the confidence within the group was a lot better than it was, Kolo Muani's body language would be a lot different than what it is. Than it currently is. You're talking about a dude that was played behind Richarlison in the first half of the season, when he was absolutely dying to get onto the pitch. And the only time he could do it was like in the Champions League, and it was a lot of start, stop. And now it's to the point where you actually wonder whether or not he actually cares. because he knows for a fact he's not coming back. There's, what is I guess you can say the inspiration for him to actually show up and give a damn.
Well, I think he will actually end up back at Juventus and then do some.
Yeah, we'll see.
Dusan Vlahovic will leave. No point us even thinking about players that would be interested in coming to us while we're in this dire situation. And if we were to get relegated, that's going to make the situation even worse. Into the game, Alan, first minute, I'm sitting in my seat right opposite where the shot come in, and Vicario parries it. I thought, I hope they're not going to carve us open like this throughout this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Vicario, yeah.
That's okay. I'll carry on because I do a synopsis of the games. When we do games on it, I mean, we haven't had to do one for a while. So then on 7 minutes, I was pleased to see Sousa in, but the late channel on Muniz, and he was late behind him. He justifiably got a yellow card for this. But you're thinking 7 minutes, you've now got to go 83 minutes plus, not get sent off, and you've got to be constrained in the way you play. I mean, so I thought that was disappointing. So, apart what we've seen from Sousa so far, Steve, is in a couple of games, is some surging runs which have showed promise. But he was wasn't goal side, so.
Yeah, there's a learning curve in the Premier League, but in the context of where we're at, you're going to have to play kids, and these are just the I guess you can say the growing pains of trying to break in a young kid at the Premier League level. It is what it is. These type of yellow cards are going to happen. They're learning experiences for a young kid that is just trying to get adapted to the speed.
Yeah. And this shouldn't happen. I mean, Star waving he was disappointed with one of our players getting booked, and he was waving a yellow card, and he then gets booked. So players shouldn't do that. That's something that's been inherited from the continent. They used to do it, and now it's pretty standard. You wave a yellow card, an imaginary one, and you're going to get one yourself. So there's that. And then this shouldn't happen. To me, we're waiting for it. As fans, we're all going, yeah, we hope it's chalked up, And then when you see it late, you think, for the sake of football, that goal shouldn't have been chalked off, really. They should have had it. They should have been given it. I mean, but
what was the reasoning for the offside? How close was it?
Nasal hair. It was his face or something that was offside.
His face?
I mean, it's a joke. Not good for football. Slows the game down as well. Players' muscles are cooling down, might get injuries. I mean, it was just a joke.
Help me out real quick. How does your face get offside? Help me. I don't understand. Did he turn and his profile was offside? You know what I mean?
You could. Well, I suppose as it's a head, I mean, you can score with the head, you can score with the feet. If they were the two protocols for disallowing an offside goal and not a shoulder or a knee or something like that, it's just a joke, though, isn't it? I mean, that goal should have been allowed to stand, in my opinion. I mean, on seeing it on replay, I don't know what the comments are in the chat on this. I mean, this VAR. I mean, no one's arguing they get the decisions right, but what we're arguing about is the amount of time it's taken them to reach the decisions. I'm waiting to celebrate a goal properly because you score and now you're waiting to see if it's going to be chalked off. It's just football is I think the soul of football has been destroyed. Basically, the spirit of the game. It's become as robotic as the football we're having to put up with.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the 34th minute, good work with the byline by Gray cross. This was good because the chip come over from the left hand side. I forget who put the cross in now, and it was in the air. And Grays took it sort of over his shoulder, sort of trying to control it. He's turned, got to the byline, lost his players, pulled the cross back. It was great work by Gray to assist this goal. right? And then Slanky, who's got good instinct inside the box, put it away. I mean, 1-0 Spurs, we're all happy, you know. So no, it was great work for Gray. It was easily man of the match for us. And again, he's shown his quality, which I'm like Alistair Gold. I'm baffled by some Spurs fans can't see how good this kid is. I think he's an exceptional talent, but it's only my opinion. You can disagree with me. I won't buy it. Yeah, so
I'm with you. I'm with you on Gray. He's quality.
And then on the 38th minute, VDV red card, Paul Beck's Sar, that's their Sar, not ours. Penalty 1-1. Yeah, the first tug, okay, he might have got away with, but it was sort of like a double tug, and then he's really yanked him and brought him down. At the time, I'm looking at this and I thought, what's he being sent off with? Because someone to the left, forget who the player was to the left, I thought, last man or not, I get it, directly on goal. And he goes, it was the right decision. It was the right decision. Right decision, do you on replay, Steve?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, by the letter of the law, sure. But that being said, VDV, he knows better. That's the problem that I have with this is he knows better, and I understand. There are times and places where you take a yellow, especially in goal scoring opportunities. But when you know for a fact that you're now kind of toeing the line where it could go either way, And then, I'm not saying that you should let the marker go and have have the dude just have an open shot at net. But that being said, it's like if you're going to do something, you can't put your team in a position the way that he put the team in the position, right? So it's a bang bang decision. It was the wrong decision. But that being said, it's like in that situation, it's what do you do? Do you let your marker go through to essentially have a free look at net? What decision are you going to make in the moment? It cost us the match. So let's understand the team quit as soon as this happened. Like let's fully understand. Yeah,
I mean,
I felt like they did.
It is quite an aggressive. The initial locking of arms, they're both together. But the second part was quite an aggressive pullback, and the players trying to get through, and you're stopping us goal scoring opportunities. So, no, I get it. Sometimes you think a penalty is enough punishment, without sending off, but it was, wasn't it? It was a sending off.
Yeah, Ashley makes a good point. If Vicario reads the game, he comes out and clears it.
Yeah. No,
Vicario doesn't like to come out of his goal though, unless it's a chancy ball where he heads it away.
Yeah. But then this baffled me, Al. 42 minutes, Gallagher for Souza, Basuma for Maloney, right? Hang about. This is like, in theory, 3 minutes, and we know there was 8 minutes of extra time, but this is like just before half time. What are you going to? How are you changing the game, Igor? Like, even 10 minutes before half time, bringing these players on. You can get half two, have a chat with them. Right, lads, you're going on. Want you to do this, want you to do that. You've got time to talk to them during the fucking halftime break. Sort this out. And yet, he made these subs and it's rare. I mean, it's only when someone's usually awful that you take them off. Get the Souza, he's on the yellow, right? But then we'll take them off 15, 20 minutes before half time. But that's not... most managers don't do that because that can affect a player's confidence. When Dyer was taken off in the first half, when Mourinho was Spurs manager, and Basuma for Moani, right? I mean,
all right, lads, we're bunkering, and we're protecting the 1-goal lead.
Yeah, well, I mean, no one asked him that question. No, none of the press in the car asked him that question. I picked up on it, and then. Stray Tell pass, Tell was decent apart from this. He lost the ball, and Walton had a very good game. He sort of
great game.
Receives the ball, put Larson through, who scored, right? Under Vicario, the ball went under him, right? So, all right, he's right on him. I mean, goalkeepers go, shots hit hard. I'm not faulting Vicario for this goal. It's the way it happened. You know, you're partly to blame for this, and you had a decent game apart from this. But then, do you have a decent game if you make a mistake that leads to a goal? You know, you can question my comment on that.
Yeah.
And then this, I mean, again, fans want to get on Vicario. I get that him coming out. It was a good ball. I mean, like, Sar's come between Danso and was it Danso and VDV? Was it?
No, not at this point.
No, it was Danso and he's come between the two players that were in the centre back positions at the time. I forget who the player was. You can remind me in the chat. And it was such a good pass that Vicario coming out and not getting it made it look a lot worse for the goal. I'm not blaming Vicario for that because it was the pass from Walton that did it for Sarr to slip through between two centre backs. I mean, like, golden rule, like, that shouldn't happen. And he slipped in between the two of them. It's 3-1. Like, it's a minute or half time. It's game over virtually.
Yep, should have been 4-1. I didn't. The fact that he was off by a nose was. Whilst it benefited us, if that went against us, if it was one of our guys and they scored, could you imagine how frustrating?
Well, it'd probably been a different game if they'd scored first. Solanke wouldn't have got his goal. So no, but you've got to give them goals. They've got to bring in a rule like there's got to be daylight between the players to be offside or something like that. They've got, but you see, it's got to be done in Europe as well. You can't have one rule in one set and one in the others. There's got to be an agreement between all the leagues, you know.
That what Arsene Wenger's trying to change? He's trying to make it so that there's full daylight between the two players.
Yeah, and he's also suggested kick-ins, which they've tried in lower leagues. And then you've had purists complain like me. Well, but hang about. You've got people, and they're talking about banning long throws as well. That was a suggestion, right? Yeah. Killing the beauty of the game. Well, what beauty of the game? The game isn't beautiful today. It's robotic football. It's not beautiful. Again, you've got the very, very top teams, the richest that have bought the best players. They play decent football, and the rest of the team, robotic. Yeah. And even the best teams, they just have more of the ball, but it's still passing it to the left, across to the right.
They become like set piece FCs.
Right. It's still the same. You want like innovative coaches that can. I know the midfield's crowded. That's the whole idea. Stop playing you through the middle, but you need some way of coaches devising systems and patterns of play where you can actually play through the middle. It's the quickest route to goal. But second half, 46-minute Tell corner, Danso header. Yeah, it was a good header. It's a firm header because Henderson had to parry it away out. I mean, it
was a good header.
Yeah, it was a good header. For a centre back, good header.
Danso had a mixed game, though.
Yeah.
For a big, strong guy, he kind of got bullied a bit.
Polina shot wide on a 56th.
Yep.
Again, Henderson saved from Solanke with his legs. He got through. He cut in Solanke to take his man on. We don't see him do that too much. He's got it in his locker, though. There's a bit more to Solanke. I've seen a bit more to Solanke. Remember the goal? He scored a very similar, like Harry Kane goal from the edge of the penalty, cut past defender and shot in the corner. He did. I forget who it was against now, but 70 minutes last and he shot wide. I'll give you the stats later, actually. Then subs, Richarlison for Solanke, Simmons for Porro. Yeah, well, we've got games coming up. So any late subs, they could be tactical or for resting players, Steve. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like.
Polina looked gassed. He was getting outrun.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe, I don't know, at that point, you just go for it, you know.
Then the yellow card.
I didn't even see him defend. They didn't. I don't think they showed it on camera. Him, you know. I guess if you do this to the ref, is that like showing red to a bull? You know, where they just go for you.
Sarr got a booking for that. But Basuma's one was just for fucking arguing, right? So, and he picked up too many. I mean, that first season under Ange, he had 3 suspensions before he went off to Africa for a competition. And that was about wrapped it up. I mean, I thought Gray was very good in this game, considering.
He was good. I don't think we wind up with that result with anyone being very good, but he was good. This is, his setup. He put that ball on a plate for Solanke to score. I mean, listening to the commentators on television, you'd make it think like Solanke was some wizard with the ball, but really it was Archie Gray that did all the work.
Yep.
So that was really good for Gray. And it seems like he's always trying. Whether or not it works, I don't know always, but he had a good game. He was definitely, I think, our best player in that game.
He's just intelligent. He pops up in so many good positions. He finds the space. We see it against Bodo Glynn. He scored the winning goal away at Palace, didn't he? I mean, just what he's been, he's been the general dog's body in the team, been forced to play in all these positions. And although some people say like, oh, he ain't really shone, well, he hasn't really let the team down either, has he? The only time he may have looked poor is when everyone else has looked poor. When we played with Liverpool away or something, got spanked 5-0. Oh, great. I went, hang about. Everyone else was crap. Don't dip one player out when everyone else is crap, You
say Liverpool 5-0. Are you, is that precognition? Are you thinking ahead?
No, that was a last season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like 6-3? Wasn't that Liverpool match like 6-3?
It might have been that one, yeah. Didn't we score first as well? Fall ourselves in a false sense of it.
Probably.
I can't remember, but yeah, it was like it was an absurd scoreline.
Yeah. So Tudor's game management. I'm not knocking him. Just to inherit what he's inherited and just have 3 games. All right, we'd like to have picked up some points, but I question the subs before half time. Don't see how that made that much difference. Unless he's seen something we haven't, or these players have got knocked, or that goes to something. But even then, they can hang on for like a few minutes before half time. You can get your half time team talk going. Yeah. So that, yeah.
So on this, he said things. He sounded almost like Thomas Frank in his interview, though. With like,
yeah, he did, didn't he?
Good things, and he's. What does he see when he says he sees good things? I mean, I guess if he could be specific about what he likes, but when they speak in such generalities, it confuses me. And
what was there good to see? I mean, like, unless he see things in Sousa after the yellow card before I come up here half time, or unless he thought, yeah, I was right to bring Tell back into the team to start, and yes, Gray played well. I mean, but he didn't. It's a lot of managers they always give cryptic interviews, don't they? Or which is understandable, or they always say you could watch a game, the other team can absolutely pulverize you, and the manager say we played well.
I think I thought he was referring to the second half where they were still trying to get forward and still trying to create things. There was a couple decent looks, I guess, and so maybe that's what he was thinking, that they didn't necessarily put down their swords. They were still trying to get forward, still trying to create, trying to get goals. Maybe that's what he took away from it, that there actually is fight in this group.
Yeah, I didn't think Palace eased off. I think we did try and go at them. We had nothing to lose, and we did give it a good go. We give it a go. Didn't come off. If we'd have got a goal at 3-2, it would have been interesting, but we didn't. So,
other than the goal, how many shots on goal did we have?
Right. Okay. Here we go. Stats, we had 40% to their 60%. Shots on target 4 each. Total 12-9. Now, when I'm at the game, we always had 12 shots. I know we had a couple of double blasts at the goal and things like that. So I think the total includes the block ones, I should imagine, because we had 5 block shots to their 3. Corners 6-3, yeah, mainly second half. 28 clearances to 3 interceptions, 9-5. Yeah, because second half, we were intercepting a second ball. We were. Aerial duels more, yeah. We were winning the second balls, which was a change for us. Tackles, passes, crosses, 12-19. So, but they, I mean, Walton just destroyed us in the first half, basically. Yeah. So I don't see our 9 shots, but I couldn't recall them anyway. Some were doubles and blocks. If 5 of them were blocked, they were probably 5 out of the 12, right? But so we have, like, I think, right, that is roughly the game, right? But Steve, we're pinning hopes on returning players.
If you ask Johan Lang, yeah, we are, aren't we? Because apparently there was nobody in Europe that was good enough to come in and help this club in January. So from that standpoint, yeah, I would say that we are. But again, what I will say is that, because of the schedule moving forward, I think it somewhat does play into Spurs' hands, because there will be enough time for returning players to get onto the training pitch and get at least somewhat comfortable and somewhat adjusted to Igor Tudor. But that being said, it's like, if what's coming up is going to be indication of these last three matches, are we going to see more formation changes? Are we going to see players not accustomed to playing certain positions being asked to do things that, quite frankly, maybe they just don't have it in their locker, right? So from that standpoint, I don't necessarily think it's going to matter one way or another. But what I will say is getting a guy like Mohamed Kudus is going to be absolutely paramount, because from that right side, it makes sense, especially if you're going to play a 3-4-3, having Kudus and Porto on that right side is definitely going to help. Getting Bergvall back is clearly going to help. He's 19, 20, so you would think that it's not going to take him long to get back up to full speed. But that being said, man, I guess that's the hope.
Well,
guys back.
We play Forest on the 22nd, and like I've said to you latecomers, and on the 23rd to the 31st of March is the international break. But if we're no longer involved in Europe, we don't play again till Sunday the 12th of April, Sunderland away. Yeah. So the gap after the international break must be when the European games played, maybe FA Cup games still, things like that. So yeah,
I will say that our attack is going to look a lot better with Kudus and Porto off the right hand side, and then Udogie and Tell off the left. I think that is actually going to give the squad a little bit more balance. It's just, I guess the question is the role, that midfield role, who is that going to be? Who is going to be that link through the middle of the park? Because you're absolutely right, Adrian. It is the quickest path to goal. And you would think that Xavi would have a role into that, but that being said, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, Richarlison, like if you're going to play in a 3-4-3, Richarlison's going to have to be up top. And again, this is no disrespect to, Dominic Solanke. It's like, yeah, goal notwithstanding, but let me ask you guys this question. Who's more apt to get into form and go on a purple patch, even if it's for like 3 or 4 games? Do you think it's Solanke or do you think it's Richarlison?
Richie.
Well, they're both in form. Solanke scored his goals. His goals are good, and so is Richie. They're both in form, believe it or not. Whereas Moani isn't. He's nibbled a goal even there.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. And I would just leave Randall Kolo Moani on the bench. It's like,
I don't know why we have any loyalty to him. I mean, I appreciate thank you for your service. We're done with you,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, right? And so it's you can pick and choose when you want to start Richarlison or when you want to start Solanke, but both of those guys have to have big roles moving forward. And that's the thing. It's like the way that I look at this moving forward is like, that break is going to be paramount because it's going to provide so much more balance than we currently have, because we're not even looking one-dimensional at the point. We're looking absolutely dreadful because there's just no semblance of balance within the squad. We can't attack down the right because we don't necessarily have a true right-sided player that can actually push the tempo. Same thing on the left. Tell does look like he probably could provide something, but he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that person behind him that can play the ball forward to him, that actually allows him to get on and use his pace and use his creativity. And so from that standpoint, it's, we're kind of currently stuck in a rock and, currently stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I have no qualms about playing Tell. He's got the right attitude, Alan, hasn't he? He's got the right attitude. For the young kids are the ones that are showing up, the experienced players in this team. I mean, Odegaard, when he was fit, used to get some good little cameo roles and triangles between Tell and Odegaard and Moani.
And maybe just maybe we might get Kulu back. Although again, I'm not holding my breath.
The thing with the young players is they're very good. They got a lot of energy. They're very energetic, but they have that. They still make those bozo mistakes every once in a while, like Tell did in the middle. Right in front of goal, basically. To work. And that's but I don't blame him for that. Yes, it was a mistake, but that's like one of those teachable moments that as he gets a little older and a little more mature in the game, he probably won't make those mistakes anymore. So you can't really hold it against him. Same with Archie Gray. You can't really hold them against them. He's only 19, whatever. Archie Gray. You can't really hold it again. And
the games he's played, the top league games he's played for his age is phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the experienced players we kind of have to hold their feet to the fire and say, look, we expect more out of you, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch and
Potter's hoping
in the
that
locker room.
He's hoping that Kula will be fit for the international break because Sweden got important games and he's captain of Sweden. So. But this is what I brought up before we come on. I think, Kudus and Berger, you return mid-March or the latest after the international break, which is the 31st of March. But it's longer for us because we haven't got a Premier League game till the 12th of April, which is Sunday away. So what I'm saying is from the 23rd of March to the 12th of April, I mean, you're looking at 2.5 weeks. Now, Russ could set in and we could be worse for the players, like I think Steve's alluded to. But at the same thing, it's not so much the players. It just gives Tudor and his team a bit more time to work in this situation, and we'll see if he pulls it off or not. We've got to stick with him, in my opinion. We can't chop.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine that they're going to reach down and fire Tudor again. Just considering the options of where we're at right now, right? We're not going to get De Zerbi. We're not going to get Alonso. We're not going to get Pochettino right now. And so what's left? What's left? Sean Dyche. I actually wouldn't have a problem with Sean Dyche coming up here. He did it with Everton. So, he has some history with relegation scraps. But that being said, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, we don't necessarily have enough at our disposal in order to get points. And so it sucks. It really does, but eventually it will ease. And I will say that come the end of the month where we're actually going to have a break, I actually think that's going to be beneficial because we are going to get some very key players back with this team.
Yeah.
And when we come back against Sunderland, it should look a hell of a lot differently.
Would you take a former player, not necessarily Robbie Keane, because I know Robbie Keane has made it known that he wants to come back permanently, not on a temporary basis, but would you take former players if they replaced Tudor? If you knew,
the only way that would happen is first of all, Tim Sherwood can go fuck himself. I don't want Tim Sherwood back anywhere near this club. That's the first thing I will say, and I apologize for using that kind of language. But the only possibility is if Harry Redknapp came in and if he had a Jermaine Defoe on his staff, you know what I mean? Maybe. But but that being said, it's like Harry Redknapp hasn't been in football for 10 years now. And it's this is the way that I looked at this, right? Was Igor Tudor to me was the right hire just at the wrong time. If they would have listened to Paratici back in November and December and brought him in then, where the club was still in the top 10 and there was still confidence within the group, it probably would have worked out. And at that point in time, we didn't have the injuries. We didn't have the injury situation we had currently. And so maybe it actually works out a little bit differently. But we waited for so long to bring him in, and we did absolutely nothing in the January window that, his way of doing things, they're me personally, I just think it was the wrong time to hire him. And if you're going to make the change, then you have to read the room and understand that the confidence with this group is at an all-time low. So you kind of need a man manager in there with a soft hand to put an arm around the shoulder and just allow them to go out there and play free.
Whatever the case may be,
just play free and enjoy your football. play hard for 90 and just like if you give up a goal, so be it, whatever. If you make a mistake, don't dwell on it. Just go out there and have fun.
Yeah.
Igor Tudor is like, no. It has to be done this way, this way, this way, this way. And it's like, yeah, like it would have worked back when we were still like a top 6 team back at the start of November or mid-November. It would have worked.
He's an experienced player that's won loads of stuff with Juventus and played for his country.
Yeah.
Tudor. Players should respect him. You know, he should obviously know what he's talking about. I'm not for getting rid of him. Whatever happens, you stick with him.
I don't want to see it either. I don't want to see him go either because me personally, I think that would be the nail in the coffin. I think you made the decision. They have made their beds, and oh, by the way, if they do it, it only solidifies the incompetence of Lang and Vinai anyways, because they wouldn't have one coach that they got wrong, although they got wrong with dismissal of Ange. But that being said, if they got, their personal hire of Thomas Frank, they got wrong. And if the board has to step in and intervene again because they got another coaching hire wrong, it would just be, this whole thing would be absolute chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be a nail in the coffin and this team goes down. At least with Tudor, there's still enough time where you can at least try to get 4 to 6 points somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you are getting players back.
You sticking with Tudor, Al? You happy with him?
I mean, I don't know who they would bring in. I don't know.
Harry.
But it's been like 10, 11 years since he's been there. But look, I'm for whoever can help try to inspire the players to play better. Really.
Yeah.
Because watching against Crystal Palace, we made Crystal Palace look like Barcelona. I mean, they really were. They're not. They eked out. Crystal Palace eked out a win the week before. And who did they play? I don't remember who they played the week before. But they eked out a 1-0 win. And it was nothing like what they did to us. What should have been 4-1. Just, it doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know if he's getting through to them or if they're listening.
Let's take it a little bit further. Then we get to the end of the season, whether we're relegated or we survive. I mean, there will be a demand from the fan base about who comes in. It's not going to be a Defoe or Robbie Keane,
No.
I mean, you've come for all this shit for the last 2 seasons, and you're going to take a chance on another manager, unproven as such. It's just. I mean, it'd be explosive. I mean, like Steve was a bit polite in the way phrased his last statement, but it would be absolutely explosive if you went the end of the season we survived. No, we'll bring Jermaine Defoe. I love Defoe, don't get me wrong, but what the hell are you doing? Same with Robbie Keane. He's done it in the Turkish league and Hungarian league. Yeah, we'll go to Celtic, cut your teeth there next, then we'll see. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I mean,
and by the way, the only reason why I mentioned Sean Dyche is because he performed a miracle with Everton. Yeah. Like, if you guys remember, like, Everton was going to go down. 100% they were going to go down, and Sean Dyche worked an absolute miracle to keep them up.
There would be, as much as I want Poch, there would be a better selection of managers at the end of the season than
yeah.
And it can't ditch Tudor now. That looks like panic stations for them. They've got so much wrong at this football club on the footballing side while they've been in charge, right? That if you like knee-jerk reaction, I'm the same when it comes to doing these podcasts. I mean, I don't like doing shows straight after games. I like to collate my thoughts, settle things down, have a good thought about the banners so it's an interesting show, then jump in and knee-jerk it. Some want to jump. Look, others want to do what they do. They do what they do, right? But it's not me. It's not my comfort zone. I like to prepare. So, same at the football club. I'm not into knee-jerk reaction. I get it. Fans get overexcited. They want instant solutions to problems, and there aren't any instant solutions to our problems. It's going to take time.
Yeah, correct. And by the way, like, we've shipped so many goals out the door when it comes to players that, that really to me is the only thing that kind of matters between now and the end of the season is where our goals are going to be coming from. Because in order to pull this out, not only do we have to stop shipping goals, we're going to actually have to figure out how to score goals and hold leads and actually close games out, right? And so for me, that should be the only concern with this club at the moment right now is putting together full 90s and trying to get this thing at least to the end line where we keep our position. The only thing that I want to see changed is if you're going to make a change, like bring in Dougie Friedman. Like if you're going to make a change with the executive level, then do that. But at the same time, like the coach has to stay in place and the players have to remain focused.
We haven't got to worry about a sporting director till the summer, right? But it's not going to change anything. They're not going to be able to bring any players in, right? So
that's exactly right. That's my point. That's like if you're going to make a change, do it there and prepare for the summer. That's
my biggest issue from what I see it out is like it's individual confidence as well as overall team confidence and squad confidence. Because if you're not playing a settled team, if you're not playing square pegs in square holes, and you're a centre back like VDV, one week you've got Dragusin next to you, next you've got Danso next to you, or you might have your soulmate Romero next to you, and the same now Porro's playing in a back three, right? Now your Archie Gray or whatever doesn't complain, gets on with it or someone. You've also got a situation where the midfield's changed or the attack's changed, right? You've got no regular playing partner you've played with to get used to their game. And you're also, if you're a defender and Susu wants to go bombing forward, it can affect VDV's performance. He thinks, oh, he's kid, I've got to stay back because I'm not sure about Suva. Or, someone might feel the same way about Porro going forward. Dancer, right, I'm going to stay back. And you've got to have confidence in the players around you. But that comes from a settled team as well. I mean, like getting used to players' games. And we just haven't had that. We haven't had the luxury of that. We've had to keep changing. One, because we'd be overplayed playing players. So that Kulu got injured and Porro even got injured. And both of those are superhuman, in my opinion. And then you're getting settled up. Gallagher hasn't quite settled. He actually did some good things in the game yesterday, Gallagher, actually see some good things in him.
What did he do that you liked? I asked because I didn't see it.
I see him breaking down the right. I see him on the ball. I see him getting stuck in as well. I thought, wasn't outstanding or nothing, but I thought, at least I can see something in you. We know he's not an elite player. When he's on his game, he's below that elite level, which is all we can expect to bring at this football club, unless we bring an outstanding talent through. Like next season, you'd expect Vastovic and Mikey Moore to be certain members of this squad. If they're not, God help us.
That second half versus Man City, I still think the high end of Conor Gallagher can still actually do something for this club. But I guess a big reason I think everybody realizes why Atletico let him go.
Well, as much as I want these return, I love you, Doggy. I like Madison, I like Kulu and that. But even with Bergvall and that, as much as I want to see these players return, it's asking a lot for them to come back and hit the ground running now.
I get it.
Still asking a lot. They could come back and do crap.
That's the concern about putting all of your eggs in that basket of returning players. They need time. They need field time. There's nothing like it. There's no other experience that they're going to get, and there's no amount of practicing they can do that's going to ready them as much as play time during a game. And we're running out of track here. We're starting to hit the end here. I couldn't even blame them. Let's say they all came back right now. It's not a lot of time to come back and get settled, or for this team to settle in. Even with them, to them, they're basically like new players for some of these guys. They've never played with Xavi. They've never really played with Tell. They've never really played, it's a bunch of players.
That's why that break at the end of the month is going to be pivotal, right? Because there's going to be a lot of training time for them to kind of get somewhat adjusted to each other. 100%.
We will do a show after the Atletico Madrid game on Tuesday. We'll do it Wednesday instead of doing a Tuesday show. But this is our squad for that game. on players that are fit. We don't know if Dragerson still got a slight knock, because it's turned out I didn't know nothing about it. I wish we'd been told beforehand, but even though I didn't want him to start the game against Palace, then like you go along here, Bergvall's out, so that's 2 possibly. Kudus is out, it's 3, you know, and then like Spencer's got a knock, he should be back. Yeah. Odebert's
What
out.
kind of Spencer we getting? Spence lately
He's
has
not
been
playing.
bad.
Yeah, thinks he's not playing, so that's 5. You know, neither's Austin, 6. So, you know, 6 off of this lot. You know, you're down to 16 players, basically to pick from. Sousa's not in the squad, 19-year-old. He's not in the squad, so we're going to need Spence back for this game. Otherwise, Gray. I don't want Gray playing at fullback. I really don't. He's wasted there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, we're not picking a team now. I'm just giving people or whatever. But, you know, should we get past Atletico Madrid? I did this for fun. Our path gets easier, guys, because look, we could, if we get Barcelona in the quarterfinals, easy, right? Semi-finals, we meet Arsenal. And then in the final, we meet Bayern Munich. Book your tickets and hotels now, guys. We go into...
Wouldn't be a fairy tale ending to a Champions League campaign where we beat Arsenal in 2 legs of a North London derby to advance to a Champions League final while simultaneously getting relegated out of the Premier League on the last day of the season. And yet, we're still European champions, and Arsenal, yes, we did it. We did the double against Arsenal in the Champions League to rob them of the glory that they think that they're entitled to. Come on, let's give ourselves a round of applause, because I think we'd be the only team in I can't think of a time where a team won a European Cup and got relegated in the same season. I mean, you know, if you're going to make history, you're going to make history. You got to do it right.
I said at the beginning of the season, we know we're not winning this competition. I mean, but I said we could get quarterfinals. We could get past Atletico Madrid, but that would be it. That would be it. I mean, that
would be something too.
Yeah. But and look, it would be good for confidence. It would be something, Al, because it'd be good for the team's confidence. This is why people say, "Oh, let's go out this competition." No, because that means at least 1 defeat. You know,
correct.
We could draw 1 and lose 1, right? No, because we're in desperate need of building confidence. I think the fight's there. I mean, we didn't crumble against Palace. We gave 2 late goals away in the first half. If we'd have crumbled, we'd have lost by 4 or 5, or so they'd have scored 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So there is still this team. We know this team's got something about it on its day. We just only seen enough of it. I mean, you can put in a display against Man United in the final, and we have had some good away performances. You know.
Yeah, spark plugs aren't working right. We need to replace our spark plugs.
Yeah, exactly.
I imagine if we beat Atletico Madrid over 2 legs, that Diego Simeone gets the sack for that. That almost feels like it's a sackable offense for him if he loses to Tottenham in the Champions League round of 16 while we're hanging on for dear life.
But winning breeds confidence, and you know, if we can beat Atletico Madrid even in just one of the 2 games, even if we lose on aggregate, it still breeds a confidence because they haven't won a game. Hey, these guys just haven't won a game.
We need a win to stop the rot. It'd be, I mean, if we could see in Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone, he knows how to stop teams from scoring. I think they're about 4th in the league, Atletico Madrid, aren't they? I mean,
yeah, they're up there.
The usual suspects of 1 and 2, aren't they? I mean, these are injury woes. I mean, look, these players would improve us. Even Davis would, right? He's solid, right? But I mean, like, these players would improve us. If these were fit, we'd be really struggling to do our predictions, guys, wouldn't we? You know, we really would struggle. So, but it's just unfortunate. We are where we are. We have to get through it. As we know, VDV suspended for Liverpool away, but Romero's back. And Romero's obviously back for Atletico Madrid because he's not barred from Europe. So we can pretty safely say we're not going to do a prediction show. We'll do a post-match show. Well, we could, because I don't know what Ian's doing Sunday. I know he's travelling, so I don't know if he's doing a show Sunday or wants me to do one. But I'm not sure if it's worthwhile doing one till after the Athletic. Why put ourselves through more pain? You know what I mean? Why do that? you know, if I'm going to do that, I'll invite you to because you're suffering with me. You know?
Right. Sure.
so Romero's back. I'm glad to see him back. I'm a fan, and half the fan base aren't, and so he'll be back. So you're pretty safe. It's going to be Dancer, Romero. Well, unless Tudor puts Dragerson in because he is in the squad, but. We've got sufficient centre backs for that game. So if he needs to pull one of them off to rest them for the Liverpool game or whatever, you know, then
you have Dragerson,
or two of this towards the end of the game, whatever. He's got that option because we're gonna have to park the bus at Liverpool. Yeah. So yeah.
Liverpool. Well, they did not look good against Wolves.
Yeah, they've been hit and miss, but you know they always seem to turn up against us. Though that's the thing. That's the thing, guys.
And we don't usually get a lot at Anfield.
No.
Nope.
Just check some of the comments.
Adrian, I gotta run.
That's all fine. We're going to end there anyway.
Oh, okay.
I just you've got to run. That's fair enough, Al. Thanks for coming. Thanks for braving it, Steve.
Oh, wait, if we're finishing up, I'll hang out.
You're right. You'll hang out. Right. So. Guys, there's like 80 of you, 81 of you viewing us on various platforms. Big up. You're very brave to listen to us after another defeat.
Yes,
when will it end? We don't know.
Company.
Yeah. So we can but we'll always do the shows no matter whatever the results are. So you can find Alan here at Team Tottenham Go. Please get over there, subscribe to his channel.
Thank you.
You can find Steve on Side Footy. Yeah. Steve does a lot of content. Get over there, subscribe to his channel as well.
Yeah,
videos are fun.
We got a show tomorrow with Dave Harris of the Irish Hotspurs.
Dave's good.
We're gonna dive into our current situation a little bit more deeper, and it should be fun. Two dudes that are actually probably going to be screaming back and forth, emotions flaring because, quite frankly. We're gonna go down. We're in deep shit, dude. We're just it's not good. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and on Spurs Darts, we do have a Facebook channel, but people don't come over. It's a big channel actually, but people aren't interested in this form of media. You can find us on. We've been growing on this recently. Actually, we got about 3,600 on the Facebook.
Great.
Yeah, that's excellent, man.
There's 14,600 on the Facebook channel, but most of them are south of the equator in different time zones and don't come over. But you can find us on here if you're watching us on playback as well. Also, there's the little red subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Makes it easy to find us. Just click on that, subscribe to the channel, and give the videos a thumbs up because it helps. It helps the algorithm, helps us bring you content for nothing. We pride ourselves on bringing you fact-based quality on diehards. Not sure if you're going to be doing a Sunday show, whether I want me to do a preview. But we'll definitely do a Wednesday show, a post-match show after Atletico Madrid. Fingers crossed we can get a draw there. You know. So
content for nothing.
Yeah.
And your chicks for free.
Right. I want to thank everyone in the chat for your comments and questions and queries and that. I want to thank all you on various platforms watching us. I want to big up to everyone who watches us on playback. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, right? And give the video a thumbs up. And with that, I'll end the stream. I want to thank my guests, these are our regular friends on a Friday show. I want to thank Steve and Alan for braving it in these trying times of being a long-suffering Spurs fans.
Great to see you guys.
Play you out with a bit of soul music I wrote.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart till we die. Spurs die hearts hot and soul lily white and baby blue.